And a very good Tuesday morning to you. It's the 6th of September 2011. Today's United Kingdom Talk. Once again in the Mirable studio. I'm afraid the weather is gradually collapsing. We had such a wonderful weekend weather-wise. And I was so disappointed on Saturday when I got stuck in 3 hours of traffic. And there was just not enough time to do anything on Saturday. I was telling you about that yesterday. I left out some details, boys and girls. I write everything. I write lines. You see what I mean? Lines. Not like... Do you remember... Did you ever have lines at school? I must not talk in the class. I must not talk in the... Did you ever have that? Or was it file? Nothing wrong with corporal punishment. I mean, I got the cane a few times. I actually started enjoying it. And I would be naughty just to go downstairs and get a beating. I left out a couple of details on Saturday. I'm afraid, on my way to Ron's, I was stuck in traffic for so long I started getting very hungry because it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. And I'm afraid I have to put my hand up and admit to buying a cheese sandwich and a bag of crisps and a bottle of Lucozade from the petrol garage on my way to Ron's. And Lucozade, how did that become mainstream? Do you know Lucozade? How on earth did that become mainstream? Because I remember as a child, you would only have Lucozade if you were ill. And usually, not even at home, if you were in hospital. Lucozade was one of those drinks that you wouldn't have it at any time except if you were ill or in hospital. A bit like grapes. And grapes. How many times when you were smaller, I mean, if you were a child in the, say, 60s or 70s, then do you remember having grapes or Lucozade any other time except when you were ill? Isn't that funny? I just seem to remember. I also think there was a particular chocolate item that I also only had when I was ill. I can't remember what that was now. Anyone ideas? Come on, boys and girls, join in. Did you have Lucozade? How did that become mainstream? Did you have Lucozade when you were little, say in the 60s or 70s, or maybe the 80s as well? Did you only have it when you were ill? And at what point did you start drinking it like willy-nilly, whenever? Funny, isn't it? Email address to the show, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And now, because I'd had that little sandwich, Ron had got all these items. Ronnie's got all these items in, my best friend, to have dinner before we went to the cinema. So I had this sandwich and bag of crisps. I thought I'll sneak that in before dinner. But as I started moving along in the traffic, I thought, oh, I'm not going to want that dinner now. So I rang ahead because I didn't want him to sit there starving. Poor boy. I didn't want him to sit there starving. So I rang ahead and I said, you better have something to eat. I've just had a cheese sandwich. I don't fancy dinner yet. We'll have it after the cinema. Yes, okay. And he was happy with that. So I got to his house eventually. I told you yesterday, haircut, cinema. I told you what I thought. In between his film, load of rubbish. Don't go and see it. And then after, the trouble was at the cinema, he pays for these gallery tickets, right, which are £20 each, although he gets 2 for 1, so it's £20 for 2 of us, which isn't bad to go and see a film, I suppose, £10 each. So it's a little bit pricey, I think, still, but acceptable. But in with that £10, you get free, what are these called? Like crisp Dorito things. You get free ones of those and a cheese dip and sweets and popcorn. So, of course, we sat there through the film, stuffing our faces with this stuff. Come out of the film about 8:30, got back to his house about 8:45. I think, no, it was about 8 o'clock. It's only a short film. Got back to his house about 8:45, 8:45, and we didn't fancy dinner. I mean, I said, are you hungry? He said, no. I said, neither am I. So we didn't have it. So he went to all that effort, got a few items in to do dinner. And I actually felt very guilty about that. Very, very guilty indeed. So a nice day. Spending with my friend. It was an awful day for getting there, and the film was rubbish as well. But just to spend a day with a special friend in your life, it's just nice. You know what I mean? Nice. We sit there, we put the world to rights. We constantly disagree on things. I love it. I love it. He also purchased me as a gift, which you may see in the background today. I've never had one before, an orchid. Do you like that? An orchid. Not only an orchid. There, look, an orchid. It's got lots of other little flowers waiting, and it comes in a little a lovely ceramic white bowl and the little dish underneath as well. And it looks as dry as anything, to be honest, but apparently you're only supposed to give, I haven't looked this up on the internet yet, you're only supposed to give orchids a tiny drop of water now and again. I don't know if that's right or not. Anyone else got an orchid? Do let us know how to look after it, okay? Chris, UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. I think we've pretty much decided that if I'm off on a Saturday, there'll be no more early Saturday visits. Like I'm not driving into London anymore on a Saturday unless it's extremely early on a Saturday morning, like 8 o'clock, which is unlikely because I'm not up at that time. It's pointless trying to drive into London on a Saturday until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So I don't think we're going to do any more Saturday visits like that because it's just a nightmare. All right, some emails. We didn't do any emails at all yesterday, which was silly, really, because there's some building up here. Richard writes on the subject of my bike, because I mean, I travel with a bike that the gears jump in. And he says, don't take the bike in. What you have done is simple. The wheel is not set to the same as when you took it off. So first try and undo it again and pull the wheel backwards towards you and then at the same time do up the lock nut. Hope this works. It just sounds like the chain is a bit slack. From Richard in Croydon. I have had a quick look since I got that email, and it's fully back in sitting in the position. Maybe I should try turning it. It's like, see, I think it's in the right place because the brakes are not rubbing. I've always done it by that, you know, the back wheel on a bike. If the brakes are rubbing, you've put it on the wrong way, haven't you? Definitely. Richard also writes, the only missing from one of your shows last week was the Courier. What, the Courier? Well, I don't know what the Kiora. Oh, that's the drink, is it? Was the Kiora and popcorn. Loved as part of my in-flight entertainment between China and Hong Kong. Love it. Were you flying? Eh? Have I become an airline... Have I become airline entertainment? Eh? I think did I mention this in the show last week? I have to write to British Airways or someone. I definitely have to write to British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, and all the others, American Airlines and all the others, Qantas, and offer this programme as in-flight entertainment. How wonderful would that be? Come fly with me, let's fly, let's fly. We'll take more care of you. Fly the flag, fly the flag. That's an old 1970s British Airways advert, that is. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it on the plane. Does anyone else watch one of these shows on the plane? Or just listen, perhaps? I don't know. Nick said, regarding the price of pizzas problem, I have two solutions. First, if you subscribe to moneysavingexpert.co.uk, which I'll have to have a look at that, you get all sorts of discount vouchers, including regular offers of Pizza Express for £1, because I made a pizza Friday. Well, I told you in yesterday's show. Second, try a homemade one, which I did. You could do making another cookery show wearing that rather dashing apron from Cyprus that Nick sent in. But perfectly, please wear something underneath next time. If you show as much flesh as the last time you wore, you may well have to give the show an 18 rating. Yes, I was showing a bit of flesh because all I had on was the apron, wasn't it? Now, we may be doing a little cookery show at the end of the week this week, and I'll do another pizza because my friend Simon, who's actually quite nice, Simon, much younger than me, is very, very nice and tasty. Simon might be popping in on the show perhaps at the end of this week or maybe the early next week. If we do a weekend show, it'll be probably at the weekend if he comes over. I'm not sure if he's going to come over or not. But young Simon, very, very nice bit of eye candy for you. Very, very, very good looking. Even better looking than me. And that is saying something, isn't it? That really is saying something. How are we doing on time? 53. Are we out of time again? God's sake. I mean, it just goes so quickly, doesn't it? I've got all these emails to do. Well, we'll carry on these for the rest of the week, all right? Thanks so much, as always, for watching and listening to the show. Do spread the word, boys and girls. If you're on Facebook, my Facebook username is Chris Reardon UK. It would be most grateful if you could cut and paste the URL to this show on your Facebook wall, because we're desperate for viewers, boys and girls. We're desperate for viewers. I suppose, YouTube-wise, we get something about 80 people watch the show each day, and about another 80 download the audio-only version. And my friend, Candy Cane Baxter, has got like 60, 70,000 people watching her. Mind you, she's probably got a lot more interesting things to say than I have. That'd be it. Email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Have a nice Tuesday. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.